So hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today's video is going to be about Python loops. So this is part of my Python basics playlist. I will be putting the link of the playlist in the description. Please check out all the videos and let's get started with today's topic. But before everything, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon for further notifications. So as you can see on my screen, the topic of this video is loops. So basically, I think I have covered loops a lot while we were discussing about Python list, but today we are going to cover it a bit in detail. So as you already know that we have two types of loops in Python, for loop and while loop. So let's just see one example of each one of them. So let me create a variable here, for example languages, and I will just create a list with some coding languages here. So I have Python, Java, R, and let's suppose C++. And now I want to basically print all the items inside this collection. So just note down that I am talking about a collection. It's not necessary it should be a list only, it could be any collection here. Okay, so I will just take this variable and create my for loop like this. For x in languages, print x. So you see what happens here. I am basically iterating over the entire collection of languages here with the help of this variable called as x. And whenever this x comes across any item inside this collection, we will simply print it. Once all the items inside the collection are iterated, then our loop will simply break and we will come to next statement in this Jupyter notebook. Okay, so I hope that is clear to you. Let's take another example with the while loop as well. So in case of while loop, you have to specify a counter before. So I am just specifying one counter called as I here, which is initialized to 0. Why I have initialized it to 0? Because in case of Python, by default, all the collections start with index 0. Okay, especially if you are talking about list, if you are talking about tuple, by default they start with 0. Okay, not sets, because sets do not have any indexes. Okay, so let's just iterate using while loop. So while I is less than the length of languages, so while this index is less than the length of the collection, simply print languages I. And now what we will do, we will simply increment this counter. So you see, this is doing the same thing as that of my for loop. Just I have to specify the counter here. I have to basically provide a condition, the condition over which this loop will break. So the condition here is when my index counter has actually reached over the length of this collection. So basically when I have iterated over all the items in my collection, this loop will break. Until then, it will keep on printing each and every item in the collection. Okay, so guys, I think this is a pretty clear to you what is for loop and what is while loop. Now what we will see is something called as keywords in loops. Okay, so how can we simply do that? Let's see. We have 4 keywords in loop. We have keywords break, continue, else, and pass. So let's first see the break keyword. So I will just write here break and create this into a markdown. So break keyword, as its name suggests, is basically used to break the loop. So your loop will only get broken when your variable has basically iterated over all the items in the collection. So in our case, if I have iterated over all the items in this Python list, my loop will break. But let's suppose I want that if I reach a collection, if I reach a language name called as Java, then after that my loop should not print anything. It should simply break. So for example, I want that if my language name is equals to Java, let's suppose I'm trying to find out that this collection contains a language. So if my collection is having a Java language. Say if my X becomes equals to Java, then I want to simply print that this list has Java in it. And after that, I just want to break it, because now my purpose is solved. My purpose was to find out if this collection contains Java, and if it does, then I just wanted to print that this list has Java in it. After that, I don't want to see any more items in the list, okay, because my purpose is resolved. Let's see how it works. So you see what happened here. So let's do one more thing. So for X in languages, if X is equals to Java, then I will simply print that this list has Java in it. But if X is not equals to Java, then I will just keep on printing whatever item I have came across in this collection. So you see what happened. My variable iterated over Python. It saw that Python is not equals to Java. So now continue further with the loop. It goes to the next item here, and then it saw, okay, this item is actually equals to Java. So now I will print something else. And once I have printed this, then you have to simply break the loop. So now the loop is broken, and you see the further items R and C++ are not printed afterwards. So this is what break keyword does. It basically breaks your loop, and you simply come out of it, and no further iterations of the collection is done after the break statement. Okay. So this is about the break keyword, and the next keyword we have is called as continue. Okay, so just like break, it basically breaks the loop. It is possible that sometimes you want that, okay, if some particular type of item is there in my collection, then I don't want to do anything with it. I don't want to execute the further statements, but I will simply go back to my loop and just go to the next item. Okay, so let's do something like this. So something is that if X is equals to Java, so if X is equals to Java, then what I want, I don't want to print anything. I simply want to continue. Okay. But if X is not equals to Java, then I basically want to print the language name. So what this loop does is that it will check if the variable is Java or not. If the variable is Java, then it will simply continue the loop. That means it will go back above, and it will start looking into the next element of the collection. But if the X is not equals to Java, it will come to this statement and execute this one. So let's see. So you see what happened here. Here Java is simply skipped. So wherever we will have the continue keyword, it will simply go back to the starting of the loop again, and it will skip all the statements which are written after the continue keyword. So continue will simply takes us to the next item in the loop, and now the print statement here is simply skipped. This is about the continue keyword, and next we have something called as else. So else is basically a keyword which is used if you want that once your loop is completed, then you want to print something. So for example, I want that once all my languages are printed, then I want to print something like this, that else print all languages are printed above. So else statement is basically executed after your loop is completed. But there is one more thing here. There is one more catch here. If your for loop breaks using a break keyword before completing its all elements, then else statement is not executed. So let's suppose if I have some break statement in my for loop. For example, like if X is equals to Java, then I want to simply break the loop. Otherwise, I want to print all the languages. So let's see if now you see what happened. So this for loop just printed the first language here. When Java was encountered, the loop was broken, and if your loop gets broken because of break keyword, your else statement or your final statement is not printed. So that's about else. Now we have the last keyword in our list, which is called as pass. So pass is actually, you will see that is sometimes we have some sort of loop, for example x in languages. Let me copy this. So sometimes you have some sort of loop, but you are not sure what to do in that loop right now. Let's suppose I created a for loop and I know that I have to implement it somehow. But I don't know the implementation yet. But I will just create a structure of this loop so that whenever I want to get back to it, I will just know that this coding statement is there and I have to complete it. So what you do is that you just write here pass, and pass will do nothing. If you just write here pass, it just means that it will skip all the statement and you just can create an empty loop here. But if you are using pass, then also it will create sort of an empty loop, but also you can use something called as continue. So if you just use continue in an empty loop, then also it becomes a empty loop and it will not create any error for you. Okay, so basically if you have any for loop, if you have any if statement which you want to keep empty, you do not want to write any line of code inside it, you want to basically create a dummy loop or a dummy function or a dummy if else statement, you just write pass in it and then your purpose is completed. So in case of loops, so I just don't want to confuse you with anything, but in case of loops, you basically can use continue to have empty loops. But in case of any other thing, like in case of functions or if statements, in case of any other thing, you have to use pass. Okay, so pass is universal for creating any sort of empty implementation. Okay, so I hope this is clear to you guys, and this was a short video covering in detail about loops. So guys, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon for further notifications. Thank you so much everyone. Stay at home, stay safe, and bye bye.